Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It's a beautiful day in Ferndale. Actually, I think it's going to rain, but it's still a beautiful day because don't beautiful days start on the inside? Let's see. That's pretty amazing what just happened. Caller number three. Caller number three. Higgs, you were one. Alan, you were two. Vegas! Can you believe you made it? I can't believe you're here this early either, doll. Vegas! Caller number three. Guess what that means? When you're caller number three in the morning, this morning, means you're on the board for the spins for tomorrow, dear. Boop. Looking good, Veg. Looking good. So we have Vegas, we have Kent Albu, we have Mushmouth, we have Trevor Slater, we have Sandman, we have Cleany the Clean Grower, Haig Bombs, Sirius Michael, and Paige. They're all qualified for tomorrow. For the big spin to win, we're going to do two or three of them. Hey, you got to be here to win. So if you're on this spinning situation and you're not going to be here tomorrow, let us know and we'll change and give us a different person's name. You can pick a replacement. If you feel like you're not going to be here Friday for whatever personal reasons, let us know a little ahead of time and give us a replacement name. How does that sound? Does that sound reasonably fair? This is one of the fruits we're going to give away. Cece has a pinch spinner. Ah, that's excellent. Here we are. What do you think? That's a pretty one. That's one of the ones we're giving away tomorrow. Remember the squat one from yesterday? Good morning, everybody. You too, free. How much does the fruit weigh? Closest without going over. Closest without going over. How much does the fruit weigh? Closest without going over. Oh, you got some good ones here. Got some good answers here. Closest without going over. We have one that's dead on. Might as well just give it to him. Daniel Cunningham. Daniel Cunningham. 3.51. Daniel said 3.5. I call that a win for Daniel. Woohoo! Daniel, what's that mean? Well, we're giving this away tomorrow. But Daniel, that just got you a spot on the board. That just got our buddy Daniel a spot on the board. An opportunity to win that tomorrow. Outstanding, Mr. Daniel. Woo! Daniel C. Let's get him on there. Fantastic. Good luck, Dan. Good morning, everybody. So we already have two. We only have two spots left for tomorrow. I might have something else to give away today, too, besides a spot. What strain is that? That's squat, fake. That's squat. Quick announcement, commercial. I have a beautiful. I had a huge, beautiful harvest here at the Detroit Mush House. You know, I don't do this that often, so listen. Actually, I'm not even going to do it until there's more likes. Actually, I'm going pop silencio. Nobody likes to be here. I'm going pop silencio. I'm going on a labor strike. The only way to get me back in the building is to put a couple of likes up there. Otherwise, I'm pop silent. Much better. Much better. Pops won't be silencio for long. Try keeping me silent. Thank you guys. Thanks for liking. We do that because we're trying to build an algorithm here that puts as many of these videos out to as many people as possible. So thank you for helping with that. You're the seeds, okay? You guys are the seeds. I want to play something for you. Is Anthony Thornton here this morning? Is Big Man here this morning? I love that guy. Somebody tell me Anthony's here this morning. Nick, we have all kinds of videos on there. Check them out. Is Anthony Thornton here this morning? Okay. Well, it's okay if he's not. He sent me this. He's on the way. He's on the way. Okay, thanks, CCS. Alan, you try making new videos at the same time you grow 200 tubs, and the same time you're doing 2 other businesses, same time you're doing tea, same time. Excuse me. I don't have time. Let's do this. We're gonna play a video from Anthony Thornton. It's really cool. I want you guys to listen to it. Okay? Check this out. Thank you, it's fake. So check out this video. There's my Anthony. Anthony, this was so good that I thought I'd have to play it for the crew. Okay, you guys ready?
I don't do hate, I don't do vengeance. I find if I'm going towards something like this,
towards hate,
or just a darker emotion, I always know it's something going on with me. I'm not saying what I'm feeling, I either agreed to something I don't want to do, or I'm scared.
How did you expel hate from your core? Like how did you just know how to turn it off or get it out?
I took some mushrooms, figured out who I was, or at least what I was sitting on, and then I sort of got sober and confronted it. And then, I talked to people about some things, and that I couldn't talk to people about, I just sort of put it to bed. I think having kids and being a husband and shit, and it's just like, why should these people pay for my childhood? It's not their fault. So my job is to, it ends with me. I don't do hate, I don't do vengeance. I find if I am going towards something like this,
One more.
Towards hate,
or just a darker emotion,
At first you think
I
he's
always know
joking,
it's something going on with me.
but he really
I'm not
means it.
saying what I'm feeling.
What he says about
I either agree
shrooms.
to
Because I
something
took
I don't
shrooms,
want to
man.
do, or I'm scared.
How did you expel hate from your core? Like how did you just know how to
Had an
turn it off or
experience.
get it out?
I took some mushrooms, figured out who I was, or at least what I was sitting on, and then I sort of got sober and confronted it.
Right, Herbie? Me too.
And then,
Me too.
I talk to people about some things and that I couldn't
Isn't
talk
this
to
great?
people about. I just sort
Here's a
of put
better
it to bed.
line.
I
Why
think
should
having
they pay
kids
for my
and
childhood?
being a husband and shit, and it's just like, why should these people pay for my childhood?
Boop.
Interesting.
It's not their fault. So
Why should these people
my
pay for
job
my childhood?
is to yeah, it ends with me. I don't do hate. I don't do vengeance. I find if I am going towards something like this,
Towards hate.
or just a darker emotion, I always know it's something going on with me. I'm not saying what I'm feeling. I either agreed to something I don't want to do, or I'm scared.
Huh. How did you expel hate from your core? Like how did you just know how to turn it off or get it out?
Anthony, that's fantastic find. Thank you for
Figured out
sharing
what
that
it
with
was,
me
at least what I was.
and giving me a chance to share it with everybody here. That is a great video clip. There's so much meat in that. It's a lot to unpack in there. And at first, like I said, the first time I saw that, I was thinking, oh, that was kind of a sarcastic answer. Oh, I took mushrooms. No, he really meant it. No, he really meant it. He wasn't trying to sell shrooms to anybody. He just explained that he had a breakthrough. I'll admit, I've had probably, I was 60 years old, 61, and I had a breakthrough of my own. It was like, mine was not about hate, but about that I valued richness so much. I valued this so much. And my breakthrough on the shrooms was there's absolutely no value in this. Zero. It's rust. And it kills and it destroys and it divides and it does so much evil. And that if I have a few minutes left on the planet, I'll do my opposite to that. Stop trying to gain that and give it away. Die naked with everything that you have gone. That was my breakthrough. And when I started living that way, there's a new kindness that you can't explain. You're trying to find new ways to be kind. Last year's kindness isn't good enough. Last year's truths, I have more. Last year's confessions, they were babies. Let me tell you the adult confessions. Right? Let me grab my tea. Basically, you get more to confess and more to give. That's fantastic little video there from Anthony, right? Good morning to everybody. I hope you guys are happy and healthy and well so far this morning. We're going to, MVP, I think confessions are good for the soul. And you know what they're really good for? They teach us that we're not alone. See, what happens is, and you know this, I'm not preaching to you, but we think that our stink is ours alone. And when we confess, we're actually helping somebody else because they find out, well, I am not alone. I'm just as crazy as that guy. I didn't know that there were other nutbags like me. And then you find out it's not nutbag stuff. The more you confess, the more people hear, the more it's like, we all did that. We do it here at tea. We talk about it. One little confession, next you know, you think you're the only one thinking that way. But you're not. There's very, very little that we go through that somebody else out there hasn't gone through. And typically, much, much worse than yours. Much, much worse than yours. Right? Sponsor. You'll tell your sponsor, a priest, or a lawyer because they're bound by law. Well, a sponsor's not, and a priest isn't. A lawyer is. A sponsor is bound by his moral conscience, and a priest is bound by his vows to whatever the church is. And then there's therapists that have ethical vows that aren't, when you're a therapist to somebody or to a group, you have an ethical responsibility to maintain their anonymity for them and about them. So, there's lots of ways to find to share, and you can still feel risk free. I personally could care less about the risk. I don't care. The one thing I do care about is be smart. And this is the hardest thing because those detectives and those guys are really good out there. If you get arrested for anything, don't say a word till you speak to a lawyer. Do not say a word till you speak to a lawyer. Name, rank, and serial number. They already have it. And it's just so basic, but it's hard to do. Because you want to defend yourself or you want to tell a lie, and the minute you've got something in their head or they've got information from you, you're already screwed because it's not going to line up with what your lawyer told you to do or don't do. So the minute I'm telling you, they pull me over for a speeding ticket and all I do is reach for the signature on the paper. That's it. Say nothing. And once you have a lawyer, your lawyer will virtually tell you what to say. Okay? So say nothing. And it's really, again, it's hard to do. How many of you have inadvertently, in the middle of something, they're interviewing you and you're telling more than you should? Tell the truth. Confess, MVP. Have you ever talked more to a cop than you should have? I did. I was 27 years old and I thought I was going to go to prison for life. I started saying everything. I didn't lie. They couldn't find me doing anything wrong, but I spoke when I shouldn't. I spoke when I should not have. Looking back and with more knowledge, I could have just been quiet and let the lawyer handle it. That's what we pay him for. Yep, we have all done it and been dumb, and you know what they end up doing? They twist your words. They took one of my tests and they lied. Said he was a 3 dilated pupil, right? They held a chart up to my eye to see how dilated your pupils are. They had this dilation chart back in the day. The one cop looked at it, the other one, they're looking at my eye and they're looking at the chart. And the lady cop goes, well, he's only about a 3. And the male cop, he's writing down a report. He goes, well, I'll write a 7 then. Right in front of me. Those are the kind of things that happen. Oh, he has a 7 dilation. He's definitely got to go to jail for being under the influence. Meanwhile, his partner said, they look pretty normal to me. And they were. Sounds like a scar I got to still get over. Say nothing to the cops. Anybody else ever had a situation where they do that kind of stuff? And I have a weird position in my life because I respect and value 99% of cops. But there's that one in the group, or that the guy that he needs to make the bust for the quota, or he's trying to make sergeant or whatever. Okay? I come from a background of my sister, my brother's wife, my sister-in-law, who was one of my very, very best friends in high school. 3 years outside of high school, my older brother starts dating this beautiful lady. He's in the fire department. They talk about it. Let's have her be in the police department. Los Angeles Women Police Department, LAPD. She kind of didn't belong there, but she went into the police department as a rookie out on assignment training. She was shot in the head and killed in the line of action. First woman in the history of LAPD to be killed in the line of action back in 1990. So my family is sacrificed, my brother especially. But cops are valued in my family. We don't go around talking negative about cops for no reason. The cops, the LAPD put her daughter and son through college. They paid for everything. They paid all their tuition, private schools, and through college. The LAPD did. Until my brother was remarried, he continued to get her salary as part of the bereaving widow fund situation. I'm telling you, cops are not all bad. We sit around and rail against them. And I can tell you, I know one that wasn't bad at all. And then I know one that was. They're people with a tough job. 10 years ago, I would have said, yeah, I'll be a cop. Today, it's not a job I'd go near. It's not a job I'd go near because every single day on the job, I'd have to be making quality, perfect decisions at every point. You make one wrong decision as a cop today, and your career is over. And it's impactful. It's not a job I would go near. So when I call the cops for something, I usually think that they're pretty good guys. Let's do a couple of rando factos, and then I want to read some stuff this morning. We're going to do some teaching. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're happy you're here. Let's throw a couple more likes up there. Let's get off the seriousness and let's talk about some rando factos. Why is a pool table green, typically? Green felt. Nowadays, they do the blue and a couple of ones red, depending on, they're trying to be billiard table situated. Why is a pool table or a billiard table green felt? Why'd they pick green? Because they're like felt of choice, a color of choice. Unveiling Shroom says, is it to stimulate a grass field? Is it because Daniel says it's because of money? Haig says it's definitely grass. Esteban says it's just because it's a good color. Pool used to be a garden sport, Rusty said. So it imitates grass, according to John. The original game of billiards was played on lawns outside. I'm already having a problem with that. How do they do it? Do you have to lay down on the ground to shoot the cue? Or is this croquet? Was the original billiards croquet? I'm confused. Croquet is great. I love croquet. The old wicket, knock the ball through the wicket situation. Croquet was the funnest game as a kid. But I don't get pool billiards. How do they do billiards outside? It's got to be a different kind of croquet, right, nerdy? You can't lay down out there on the ant grass with the pool stick and be thinking you're going to get like a good shot. And then what about the holes? If it's supposed to be a billiards and you're playing outside, what do you have? A whole bunch of holes to stimulate the table's holes? Or is this like a combination of croquet and golf where you knock it into a hole? I'm extremely confused. And we haven't even covered the color of the felt yet. Just the fact that we're playing billiards outside. I don't really get it. I'm glad they put the billiard table up on legs. The original game of billiards was played on lawns outside. Then the game moved indoors to a wooden table with green cloth to simulate the grass. That is why most pool tables are still covered with green felt. I'm so confused. I'd like a time machine trip back to an original billiards game. Original billiards, how are they doing it? Are millennials rich? How rich do you think millennials are? Millennials are making a lot of money out there. True or false? Paige says we're not. Paige just identified herself as a millennial. That's interesting. They're not rich. Bill D now wants a pool table. I want to play billiards outside, Bill. We are all rich compared to back then. Compared to, it's just a statement, Fakey. Are they rich? Not rich at all, Aaron thinks. The average millennial is only worth roughly $17,600. Assets and everything, you're worth $17,600. And the main reason is high student loans. You guys went to school thinking you were going to make $1 million salaries, you paid $200,000 for your college, and now there's no jobs like that. $17,600. Student loans. And we didn't know what we were doing when we were signing up for those things. What I did, Pops was smart back in the day. I went to UCLA on scholarship for 2 years. And then I was like, I don't want to keep doing college, but I don't want to lose, I don't want to pay for it. Let me join the Marines, and they have the GI Bill. And I can go to college on their dollar. And they actually paid you back then. I think I got about $340 a month, plus they paid for everything. I don't know how I lived on $340 a month. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Pops was always have a side job. I always had a side job. Would you pay anything? What do you think Adolf Hitler's bunker telephone? He's down there in the bunker. You know the old Adolf Hitler hiding in a bunker at the end because they were coming through Berlin and he was like, oh, and he was pooping his pants down in the bunker and he was talking everybody into taking one of the pills. He finally shot the girl that he was with, Eva Braun, and then he shot himself. What would you pay for his phone from that bunker? If it was at auction. Hitler's bunker phone. $0. I love you guys. That's my answer. I don't want that goddamn Nazi phone anywhere around me. No, $0, nothing. You know, some idiot paid $243,000 at an auction for that thing. $243,000. I don't have anything else to say, man. How did Thomas Jefferson feel about the U.S. Constitution? How did he feel about the Constitution? Jefferson. Son of a gun helped write it. He helped write the thing. Nowadays, it's a living, breathing document, and it needs to be the Supreme Court. We evaluate it based off of current socioeconomic norms. That's not what the original framers of the document meant. There's all kinds of arguments back and forth about there's constitutionalists, there's originalists, there's progressives, there's there's interpreters. It's all kinds of ways. My email is thedetroitmushlab.net. You can reach me there. You know what Thomas Jefferson said? He goes, the Constitution should expire every 19 years, so one generation doesn't have the power or right to bind the generation after. You guys don't know what we're going through. Our generation has different, it has different challenges. Every 19 years, we're going to reevaluate this. We'll keep some of the good stuff. We'll take out some, and we'll add a thing or two. Every 19 years, Tom said, we're not blowing it up, but let's certify it. Let's rewrite it. Let's confirm it for this generation. That's pretty good. I would add one other thing to that. Just don't have our Supreme Court justices are in office for life. There should be some kind of a term limit on that. We got guys going in there at 48 years old. They're going to be there for the next, till they're 88. You know, they don't leave till they die. We have some guys be sitting up there for 40 years, and they have a 40-year-old perspective on something that's they have to rule on when they're 88. Like they're there too long. And the impact is so strong on them, from them, that they can impact for 30 or 40 years. So that would be kind of a political argument I have. I don't think that it's a democratically smart thing to keep one guy in office for life, no matter what. He literally has to be caught. Well, I don't know. You can do a lot nowadays and you're still not going to get in trouble. Okay, so Adolf Hitler's phone, 243 grand. What if you're Churchill's maid? Winston Churchill. And you're the maid for Winston Churchill. This is kind of creepy. So you're Winston Churchill's maid. Let's call you Dolly. All right. So Dolly. Term limits, Kim. And age too. You shouldn't get like more than 30 years off the public trough, right? Can you go get a paycheck on your own somewhere? Or you literally have been getting paid by the government and everything else for 30 or 40 years now. You don't even know what it's like to have a job. You don't know what it's like to worry about whether or not your boss is going to fire you tomorrow because you didn't do a project correct. You just got to make a new law. Dolly. Dolly is Winston Churchill. She doesn't need a name. Dolly was an enterprising, the maid was an enterprising soul. What's Winston Churchill super famous for? When you see pictures of him, isn't he usually smoking a cigar? Doesn't he have a little stub of a cigar? He's he looks like Grant. He's always got a cigar, right? Winston Churchill, and don't they name cigars after him too? Isn't there cigars even named after him? The Churchill brand or something? Or a style or something? He's known for his cigars. His maid understood that. He was known for looking like a human volleyball. He was a rather curious shape, for sure. Vegito, it's a style of a tobacco pipe. There's a Churchill cigars, Winston cigarettes. That's right. That's right. He drank 2 bottles of champagne a day. That's ridiculous. I take 1 sip of champagne and I have a headache. It's one of the worst things. I can't. I understand champagne, but when you're doing toasts and stuff, I have to put water in. The chewed end of a cigar. You're talking a quarter of a stogie, and it's all chewed up. You know what that looks like? The chewed end of a cigar. Smoked by Winston Churchill. Sold at auction for. I'll fill in the blank. It was taken from his ashtray. Oh, I kept saying maid. It's a nurse. By a nurse who was looking after him while he was recuperating from a broken hip in Middlesex Hospital in 1962. 1962, the nurse spots the old stogie in the ashtray and she goes, grab a baggie. Boom. Ziploc. Here you go. Chewed end of a stogie from Winston Churchill. £2,000. I don't know what that translates to in dollars, but £2,000. Awkward. How do you prove it? What's the provenance on it? DNA? I could go chew up a bunch of cigars right now and pretend I grabbed them out of somebody's ashtray. That's like, there goes Pop stinking thinking I'm automatically already, how can I counterfeit those? It's approximately $3,500. Nerd has it perfect, $2,500. $2,549.62. I didn't know this before. I didn't know this about climbing Mount Everest. This will be our final one because I really do want to read to you guys today. But I love these rando factos. They blow my mind. There's really wacko rando factos out there. Are they not? So if you're going to climb Mount Everest, do they let just anybody climb Mount Everest? Can just like anybody? Man, I'm going to go climb Mount Everest tomorrow. I didn't know this. According to the Joint Secretary of Nepal's Ministry of Tourism, novice climbers are not allowed to climb Mount Everest. In fact, climbers are required to have reached a peak of at least 21,000 feet in their a mountain of 21,000 feet in their lifetime in order to qualify to climb the mountain. You have had to have conquered at least a 21,000 foot monster mountain to apply for a permit to climb. I love that. That's smart. Let's end with one really wacko facto. Even base camp is like 15K, right? Maybe even more. The truth is I didn't know that though. I'm actually really happy to hear that. And let's ask one more question. Do one more rando. We're in Nepal still. This guy probably never got a permit to climb the mountain. This guy. His name is Chandra Bahadur Dangi. He's from Nepal. I'm relatively certain he never summited the mountain for a particular reason. If he did, it would have been in somebody's backpack, because he's considered the smallest adult of all time. Tiniest fella ever. Little guy. I don't think he could climb the mountain, but you could put him in your, based off of his size, you could put him in a backpack. He might, I don't know, he might have gone up in a backpack. How tall do you think he was? Give me an idea how tall you think this fellow was. Smallest guy ever. 18 inches. A little taller. He was under 2 feet. Under 2 feet. 1.79 feet tall. Or half a meter. 0.54 of a meter. Half a meter. That's like 20 inches tall. That's like the size, yeah, the size of a large Mars, but 22, that's this big. You gotta get, and this is a full-grown human guy. I wonder what a microdose would do to the guy. Just one. Here's one microdose. Thanks. 1.7 feet tall. Do a little reading here. That wasn't a first cut. That would not be a micro, would it? The dude would take one this big and be, like Queenie says, tripping balls. I've always liked that saying. Why? Why is it such a fun saying? I was tripping balls, man. Last week we were talking about Gordon Wasson, Timothy Leary, Mother Maria Sabina, right? We were talking about all those peeps. Nice to see you, Lexington. And I got to thinking, you know, every good drama story needs a villain. Needs a victim and a villain. It's just, I think Shakespeare set it up that way. Any good drama needs at least one good villain. And it needs, you know, the victim. And sometimes it's, you know, self-inflicted victimism like Mother Sabina's. But she did have to have somebody there to victimize her. And Anthony's like a good villain would be the FBI. We're going to go back and keep talking about what a villain our Gordon Wasson was. Can we do that? Let's just keep piling it on him a little bit. Let's pile it on. Let's pile on our Gordon Wasson, since we never know him, and we just go by whatever people tell us. Since we'll never know, and let's just, I'm ready to pile it on. Okay? Let's do it. R. Gordon Wasson. The corruption of the Mazatec mushroom tradition that developed as a result of Wasson's Life magazine and this week's articles, we talked about that last week, was not the only negative consequence of the reintroduction of psychoactive fungi into the Western world. Nor did the appropriation and misrepresentation of the Mazatec culture begin with the crowds of beatniks that flocked to southern Mexico in the late 1950s. The misuse of Maria Sabina's knowledge and her people started many years earlier, when Gordon Wasson went to Mexico in search of a story. To best understand the motivations and means by which Wasson popularized his accounts of Mexico, it is helpful to first explain his history as a writer. Okay? We're going to talk about his history. In 1941, I mentioned this to you guys briefly last week. In 1941, after years working as a magazine journalist, Gordon Wasson wrote one of his first books. It was called The Hall Carbine Affair, a study in contemporary folklore. That was the name of his book. In it, Wasson attempts to disprove accounts that the bank J.P. Morgan gained its initial fortune by knowingly selling the U.S. government carbine rifles that had been poorly manufactured. J.P. Morgan, the financier of the world back in the mid-1800s, he's selling carbines, rifles, to the U.S. government to be used for the Civil War, knowing that they don't work well. I'm selling these guys something that works like crap, and I'm making a mint off of it. And he took that original seed money, his big seed money, and turned it into fortunes. I bank at one of their banks. Soon after, Wasson was given a high-ranking job. After he wrote this book and published it, how did he all of a sudden get a high-ranking job at J.P. Morgan Bank in the Wall Street district of New York as the vice president of public relations? Hey, let's get that guy. He's writing a book, cleaning up our smear campaign. Let's make him the vice president of public relations. As a member of the New York elite, Wasson was known to have been good friends with Bernays for over a decade, likely learning ways to refine his ability to sell ideas to the public along the way. In those years as a public relations vice president, he's like refining his ability to sell us stories. It was a decade likely learning ways. Okay, it was with the affluence that came from his high-ranking job that Wasson was able to afford his initial trips to Mexico in search of information about psychoactive fungi. With his skill set as a publicist, Wasson was adept at crafting sensational stories that would appeal to a large demographic. Upon reviewing one book and reading Maria Sabina's biography, it's clear that Wasson's velada with Sabina did not happen by accident. When Wasson first came to southern Mexico, he was in search of a curandero that worked with mushrooms. But being an outsider with no connection to the locals, he convinced a local mayor to help him find someone who worked with psychoactive mushrooms and would allow him to participate in their ceremonies. After finding several such healers, Wasson chose to work with Sabina and made arrangements to have their session photographed for later publicity. Can you say weak link? In her autobiography, Sabina states she would never have worked with Wasson if he had not appeared to be on official business with the mayor. For her, the mushrooms were not used for novelty or even spiritual growth, but rather more practical matters such as healing, psychic and physical, and also finding lost objects. Wasson was in need of neither of these services. Further, Sabina was a devout Catholic who saw the church as her place of worship. She never used the mushrooms for spiritual purposes. I kind of don't. I kind of use them for physical and psychic. I haven't had to get spiritual with them yet. And yet, when Wasson wrote his article for Life magazine, the reality of Sabina's relationship with the mushrooms and the means by which the velada was arranged were replaced with a sensationalized account and a pitch that promoted Wasson's upcoming book, Mushrooms, Russia, and History. Wasson's misrepresentations of the mushroom practices of Hualta de Jimenez was, in short, used to help him sell a book and build a reputation for himself as a mycological expert. Outsiders soon came to Huala in search of Maria and her mushrooms. At first, Sabina worked with these foreigners for free until, following the advice of family members, she soon began taking the money they offered. That's natural, especially if you're poor as a church mouse in this village. And they're like, come on, man, just take some money from the people. I don't do that. That's not what it... You know, we're really hungry. You could use some tortillas. All right, I'll take a buck. Next time it's 10, then it becomes 20. In time, the insertion of money into this traditionally gifted healing practice stained Sabina's reputation in her local community. Even though they told her to do it, now that you're doing it, you're bad. As outsiders came to plunder the area's hillsides for the psilocybes, Maria soon found that the mushrooms had lost their healing power. Her connection with them began to fade. To quote her directly, from the moment when the strangers arrived, the holy children lost their purity. They lost their strength. They were profaned. From now on, they will serve no purpose. There is no help for it. Before Wasson, I felt the mushrooms exalted me. Now I no longer feel this. From the moment the strangers arrived, the mushrooms lost their purity. They lost their power. They decomposed. From that moment on, they no longer worked. What a heavy burden. At the end of her life, Maria Sabina died poor, rejected by her community of healers, and stripped of the mushrooms she had worked with since childhood. As her village became a tourist attraction for drug enthusiasts seeking a real taste of Mexico, the mushrooms, her nenitos, or little children, were exported around the world and cultivated en masse by people who had little idea of the tradition that they consumed. I might add, the villagers burned her house down. She died homeless and of malnutrition. They wouldn't even give her food. They basically kicked her out of the village, like they do in those old Indian cultures. Set the old people off to die. 20 years later, when the tourism starts up again, They start selling postcards and pictures. They have her picture painted all over the town. Now she's the town saint. Exactly what Wasson would have done. We have to be so careful. Pops has to be careful. My commercial that I started this morning with that, I'll say it now. I have a huge, bountiful harvest. Came in big, came in great. Almost, it's just been an amazing run. Knock on wood, excuse me. Knock on wood. We've been clean and our grows have been just, we have an amazing, bountiful harvest. Most people look at that and go, wow, I can add some more money to my pile. I have to look at that harvest and say, get a hold of me or I'm going to be posting it later. There's going to be, it's a whole run of ghost discount. Big ghost discount I'm going to be putting out there. Let's run through some of this, get some of this ghosts out to you and your friends and to your, get it healing, get it out there and get it people working. Okay? So I'll be sending, I'll be posting it. I literally can't do it for cheaper than what we're going to try to do it for here. Okay? So if you've been holding on to $1 or $2 or there's somebody out there that needs a little bit of help, you're not going to find Pop's ghosts on this plane. I'm the best. I dare somebody to grow better than I do. You could grow equal, but you can't grow better. And we've got it. I'm not looking to make a lot of money on it. I'm looking to move this product to people that can use it. Okay? So later on, it'll be up there, and by this weekend, you'll have all the information you need. And I'm not kidding. Thank you guys for giving me that feedback, because I am the best. There's others out there working real hard at getting where I am. But you got a long ways to go to catch Pops. And as you're catching me, I'm moving. So I don't stand still. Okay? There's no standing still around here. Because if I'm best now, I want to be best again and more. And I do that because of my own personal competitiveness. That's an internal job. Let's read one little reading out of our spiritual book, and then we'll do a giveaway here. Thanks. I don't usually do commercials, but I have to do this one because I don't want to be, anybody could sit around and make as much as I can off of this. That is not how we work. That is not what we want to do. What we want to do is, if nature blessed me in my tubs, pass it. Break even. I know the numbers I need to break even. Carlos Castaneda. You guys know him. He's one of the ones down in the 1960s traveling around in Mexico. And he got very involved with peyote and mescaline. Carlos Castaneda. Fantastic author. Look at every path closely and deliberately. Try it as many times as you think are necessary. Then ask yourself, and yourself alone, does this path have a heart? If it does, the path is good. If it doesn't, it is of no use. Now let's explore that just a moment. It takes 6 million grains of pollen to seed one peony. And salmon need a lifetime of swimming to find their home. So we mustn't be alarmed or discouraged when it takes us years to find love, or years to find the calling of our life. 60 years old, 61, Pops found the final calling. I thought I had a bunch of others, and oh, this is my calling, this is what I'm going to do. And it was all dust and rust. I had to put 61 years in swimming around like a salmon to find the calling. Does this path have heart? All the other paths, you know what they had? Money. They had money. This path has heart. And you can't stop swimming because you're a salmon. You got to keep doing it. Let's go on. Sometimes it takes years to find love or years to understand our calling in life. Everything in nature, remember what's Pop's favorite words? 2 words. Be nature. Be nature. That isn't like being. That isn't like I will be. That isn't like I used to be. It is exist nature. Everything in nature is given some form of resilience by which it can rehearse finding its way. God, that is so beautiful. Everything in nature is given some form of fight back. I can hang in there. I have resilience. I can swim up this channel again and again till I find the place that I was born. Everything in nature has a level of resilience that allows it to rehearse finding its way. When it does, it's practiced. And it's ready to seize the moment. We can be like this. When things don't work out, when loves unexpectedly end or careers stop unfolding, it can be painful and sad. But refusing this larger picture keeps us from finding our resilience. Then sadness turns into discouragement and pain and can spoil into despair. As the many grains of pollen birth the one flower, and the many eggs spawned birth the one fish, each person we love and each dream we try to give life to brings us closer to the mystery of being alive. Each person we love and each passion we give life to brings us closer to the mystery of life. So we must try as many times as necessary until our many loves become the one love. Until our many dreams become that one dream, that 61-year-old Pop's dream. Until heart and path feel the same. Being nature means never quitting. It means having a level of resilience that you have to know that everything you're doing is practice. Everything that we're involved with, it's just practice. It's practice for you will find the heart on the path. And when you do, you'll know what to do with it. Can you imagine if you stumbled on it when you're 13 years old? You don't know what the hell to do with it. How many child movie stars work out to be really successful? As an example. Not very many. Usually it wasn't their passion, it was their parents. It was their stage mom. And then they take all their money. And then it gets crazy. And they turn into, poor Britney Spears. Sorry, here. You ready? Come on. Good reading this morning. I probably could have done a better job of reading it. because it's so deep and I'm connected to that so much. Um, it's like we think that we're the only ones struggling, or you think the struggle is, it's just practice, babe. It's just practice for when you find that path that has a heart. That's all it is. And we forget that when we're in the middle of the struggle, and the pain, and we like, take your eyes off of that. Put your eyes on, do something kind for someone. You'll automatically not be feeling sorry for yourself. You'll look at yourself in the mirror and go, I really did something kind for someone. Right in the middle of feeling sorry for myself, I stopped. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna go win. I'm gonna stop being a loser, I'm gonna go be a winner. I'm gonna just do something nice for somebody. That's the difference between being a loser and a winner. We're gonna have a winner tomorrow here, that's for sure. I need somebody's name for the board. We're gonna do numbers between 1 and 50. 3 of them. Go. You guys are all trained. You know exactly what this means now. Numbers between 1 and 50. Put 3 of them on a line. And whoever says the first one is going to move forward to the spin to win round. So you can pick 3 numbers. Put them on a line. And go back and do it again if you want to. Until we pick the winner. So far, I haven't seen the number that came up first. We'll see here. What number's coming up first? And then we're going to go back and we're going to do it. No, let's see. Keep flying your numbers at me. I have not seen the number yet. Keep flying them at me. I have not seen the number yet. These are numbers between 1 and 50. I'm going to tell you that the number is very close to a 3. It's not 3, but it's close to a 3. So that's only because I've seen so many numbers go by already. Okay? So it's all fake. Are you on the board already? It's all fake. Got it. It's a 2. It's a 2. It's all fake. Let me see. Let me see if I can show it to you. See that 2? It's hard to see. Where's that guy? There he is. It's a 2. It's all fake. This isn't going to be fake. Watch what I do. This is not going to be fake at all. That's pretty real. That's a pretty real deal. It's all fake. Congratulations. We're going to save that other spot for the first thing tomorrow morning. 7th caller tomorrow morning. Caller number 7. Caller number 7 will get that spot right there tomorrow morning. And then we've got really fun stuff to give away tomorrow. I can't wait to be here and do that. And then we'll just continue to teach and share and be kind to one another. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun to me. Thanks for being here this morning. Thanks for getting the likes up there as high as we have. Tomorrow, Friday, we'll have a beautiful day together. And later on, no hurry, but later on we'll post something, give you guys a chance to share that bounty, that ghost bounty with us. Okay? Have a great day, guys. Pops, peace, love, out. Let me scroll you guys out of here. Hip Kitty, thank you. Esteban Marin and Greeny. And Johnny Bivens. And Satter. And Jesus Christ in Australia. Okay, I want a 5-minute call to Ruff. That's funny, Jesus. Trevor Slater and I Lost You and Kent Albu. And Michael Brown and Cap Dank and Mike McLaughlin and I Lost You and It's All Fake. And Derek Anderson, I know it did, D. It was like, pew, there went the eagle. Trevor, you enjoy the day. Pidgey, Page, have a great day. Kenty, and I Lost You. And Holly, nice to see you. Hags, bam, talk to you soon. Michael Brown, TM. Hags, we're going to be showing a package here tomorrow that some guy named Hags sent us. Clean Grow, Satterwolf, Kimberly. Have a great day, Kimberly the Golden Bolden. Nifra Mama and Mush and Holly M. And Adrian. Adrian, nice to see you here. Jolie, the gorgeous one, she's here. The Waz, it's nice to see you, Jolie. JC Sario, Nerdy, and TM. and MDK and Holly and Jesus and Alan and Greenie the table guy, D. Anderson and Free. Nice to see you, Free. Billy D and Sid Hunter and Herbie Von Werby Kebab and Kent and Mushmouth and MDK and Corey. Corey, nice to see you this morning. Laura, have a divine day. Hip meow, kitty. Jimmy, Max, Holly M. Vegas, you're on the board. Flying Wing, Alan, see ya. Jesus Christ and Cappy and Holly and Mike Barry Ball and CCS and JC and Anthony T. Anthony, great video, thank you. Kenty, Scotty, Pagey, Hippie, Mikey, Nipper, Kent, Holly, JC, Flar, Pilar H81, Mike, Daniel Cunningham, Rusty and Page, Pops, peace, kindness flows from you, and you don't have to have any depressions. Out.